I mean, what is it about those two that you feel, that they just don't see eye to eye?
So there's a couple things. Number one, I think that Kenya is a lot more delusional than people realize. And she really just, when she wants to do something and have a story and a narrative, she's gonna run with it. And I think that her and Marlo are similar in certain ways, interestingly enough. And so they're just like oil and water. And for whatever reason, Kenya has no desire to move forward with it. And so it actually makes it extremely uncomfortable sometimes. But that's what I think it is.
Do you think, because you mentioned like a story, do you think Kenya kind of acts for the cameras? Like, does she play it up? Is she the most different? Is she very different when the cameras are not rolling?
I think that I don't really know her that well. Like I said, she was the coldest towards me from day one. I think when it's not about her, she's not happy. When it's like, she has this on the camera bigger than life persona. It's all about me, no secret. She tells everybody else how great and grand and amazing and fabulous she is.
Yes.
And I think that Marlo threatens that, and it's not comfortable for her. And so it just plays out the way that it does. And I think Marlo is going to defend herself and be Marlo, right? Like, Marlo is no angel. She doesn't pretend to be. And they just go back and forth.
Marlo's also having a moment with Kandi. They're not seeing eye to eye on some things either.
They're not.
I mean, do you think Marlo and Kandi are more likely to kind of maybe patch things up at some point, maybe at the reunion? Or
I think they are definitely more likely. And I can't spill the beans, but as you continue to watch, you will see Marlo support Kandi with some stuff, and I think you will see them coming together, and it feels really nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Because like you and Kandi did get to this good place, on where we are now in the show. And, this will air probably like 2 weeks from the time we're recording it. So anything is possible to happen.
Anything is possible, David.
But what about like as you watch it back and you're looking at confessionals? Because like this is something that happened recently. Again, I think of the past few episodes, like where Ralph had the brunch and then, everyone brought their significant other. You brought, your ex Bryce, and Kandi knows him from, I guess, the music business.
Right.
And she then says in her confessional, oh, he's such a great guy, such a nice guy. Like, well, how does he put up with her? I'm like, well, that's not a very nice thing to say.
You know what? It isn't, but that's a reflection of her, not me. So I honestly just think nothing of it, right? Like, if Kandi and I talked about it and we agreed that our argument was dumb, like it was kind of dumb,
like
it got taken out of context. And so if you will notice, I chose not to because I legitimately forgave her. We're moving forward. And that's how I felt. I wasn't just saying that. And when I say something, I mean it. So again, that's a reflection of her, not me. Be you, do you, say what feels, true for you. So.
Well, if people that watch these shows, the fans, they like authentic, real.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I'm not
they
sure.
Do.
Like it's
you don't think so?
I mean, there's nothing authentic or real about Kenya, and it may just be the amount of time that she's been on the show, but she is honestly the meanest girl I've ever met. Not just with me, but with everybody. It's
really?
Like, and there's a part. It's so bad, honestly, that I'm like, get therapy, deal with whatever internally is not sitting right with you, because it doesn't feel good. I think it's not good for the platform. I think it's not good for the show, because we go into these scenes and we want to have fun with the girls, and it's just like there's that dark shadow, and if you're not aligned with her or hyping her up or moving the way that she wants, it never ends well.
What's like the most egregious thing you've seen her do? I mean, I guess off camera, because we see it all on camera.
I think when we went on that Birmingham trip, just being the hostess, and I mean, let me just for instance, Marlo she got on that bus when we left to go to it wasn't Birmingham. I think it was Birmingham, Alabama. I don't remember the town.
I know.
No disrespect, but we got on the bus.
I know there was Alabama and I know there was Portugal.
Yeah, so Marlo was excited. She came on in a great mood, and Kenya just ignored her the entire time. We're on this little van. We're driving to Alabama with a group of girls. So literally, I'm sitting in the back with Marlo. We literally had to start a whole nother conversation because she just refused to give Marlo eye contact, to talk to her. And it was uncomfortable for me, but it was also uncomfortable for some of the other women who actually like Marlo and wanted her to be a part of the conversation, right? And that kind of energy continued. And then we saw Marlo kick the door, blow up, did what she did, but we didn't see all the little nuances and the poking that Kenya had done leading up to that point. And then now she's the victim, and Marlo is all these horrific, horrible things, and no one knew that Brooklyn was in that room.
Right. Do you think Kenya is getting a good edit? Like, do you think they go out of their way to kind of edit her in a good, because you didn't see all that, you're right.
No, I don't know. I'm going to say keep watching. I don't necessarily think so as the season progresses, because I think it became impossible not to present how she was showing up.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. What about, since we're on the topic, NeNe just did this interview with Carlos King.
Oh, right. I heard about it. Have you listened to
I listened. So first of all, we love our Carlos King here behind the velvet rope. Nice. He's been on this show many times. Awesome. I've been on his show many times. Awesome. I've listened to a lot of clips of it. Okay. So, one thing NeNe has said is that, like, Kenya, whether you like her or not, she's needed for the show. Would you agree with that?
I would not agree with that. I think that Kenya has had a long-standing role on the show, so she's developed fans, and it's just simple math, right? Like, over time, the people who relate to you, resonate with you, you're going to have that. You put another strong personality in there, a Porsha, no one's going to miss Kenya, right? Like, so it's just having a strong lead that's good for television. I think if you put someone in there that's more fun and more willing to make fun environments, yes, the fun shade is cool, having conflict, but the key to me in real life is you have conflict with your friend group, but then you move on. If not for your personal, like, even with Kandi, before I was totally ready to move on, I knew it would be in the best interest of the group and when we got together. So just the responsible, accountable thing would be to be like, you know what? You're right? Let's move on. Let's have fun. And so that's what I feel. That's how I feel.
Well, I think that's what Bravo and production likes too. I think that's what Housewives is. It's conflict resolution. Well,
there is no resolution with her. So
do you think
conflict.
Do you think it's time to maybe substitute Kenya for Porsha?
I would love to see that happen, obviously. I'm sure I'm biased.